My mom defended my sister who stole money from me and wanted to send me to a military academy. This happened when I was about 14 years old, roughly a year before my parents divorced. My younger sister always quickly spent her money on food at the mall, video games, and clothes from Hot Topic. Although my parents also gave me pocket money, my dad made me earn it by cleaning the house and working in the yard, while my sister did nothing unless my dad was around. My mom didn't make her do anything either, except to clean her room to earn extra money. I mowed lawns for neighbors, collected cans scattered around the neighborhood to turn them in for 5 cents each, and did other odd jobs. At that time, I was saving for a scooter to ride around town. Over 2 years, by doing random jobs and saving most of my pocket money, I saved about $2,000, but gathering that money wasn't easy, mainly because of my sister. She knew all my hiding places with money and stole it. Here's roughly how it was. "Hey, sister, did you take my money again?" "Sister, no." She lied when caught. "Me, you lie disgustingly. I'm missing $100 from my savings." "Sister, leave me alone. I didn't do it." She starts to cry disgustingly and runs to mom. "Sister, mom, brother is bothering me." "Me, she stole my money again." Mom, snapping her fingers in my direction, "Shut up, can't you see my baby is upset? She said she didn't take it, so she didn't. That's it, if you don't stop, I'll punish you." Me, "I know she did it. If you don't return the money, I'll tell Dad." "Mom, there's no need for that. Moreover, you have no proof that she took your money." "Me, I do. I keep track of every dollar. 3 days ago, I had $4,000. Now only $3,900 is left. $100 is missing, and you know she has stolen from me several times before. Moreover, I know she ran out of pocket money this month. And yesterday you took her shopping. Where did she get the money?" Mom, pausing for a moment then frowning, "You know what? You're punished. Go to your room or I'll take the belt." I could have continued arguing. But if I learned anything in this house, it's when to stop talking and just call Dad. I silently went to my room and slammed the door, then took out my Nokia and called Dad at work. He didn't answer, so I left a message explaining everything. About an hour later, he called back and said he would handle it. Soon I heard the landline ringing and Mom yelling. I couldn't hear everything, but I heard how Mom tried to justify her actions, but it never worked when she was wrong. Eventually, she yelled something like, "Fine, if she really took the money, you return it because she already spent it." Then Mom furiously flung open my room door and yelled at me, "I can't believe you snitched on me, ungrateful, ___. After all I do for you. You couldn't overlook a small amount, and it means you admit you stole the money." Mom, smirking, "Yes, I don't care. Girls need more money than boys. You should have just given it to her. It's not much." Me, "She stole $100, and even if it were just $1, I would still want it back. You wouldn't want someone to steal from your purse, and this is no different. If sister steals from me, she is guilty, and you know it. And I want the money back anyway. I earned it by honest work, and she did nothing." Mom, "My baby doesn't have to do anything. She's a princess and deserves to be treated accordingly." Me, "That's not my problem. Let her be a princess away from me and my things." Mom, "All right, little ___, I'll whip your butt." I stand up and look her in the eye, as at 14 years old, I was already her height, and quite strong thanks to working outside. "Try it. I won't let you do that because I didn't do anything wrong." Mom paused for a moment, then loudly growled and swung her hand trying to knock something off my dresser, but hit too low and hit right by the dresser, which I'm sure was painful. She grabbed her hand trying to hold back the pain and looked at me with fury, then just turned around and left. I heard her screaming and hitting the walls as she walked down the corridor and down the stairs. Then she headed to the kitchen to engage in her usual activity when something went wrong, go to the wine fridge and drink. My sister watched me from her door, looked scared, then disappeared into her room, slamming the door. Mom was her trump card to avoid punishment for everything she did to me, but everything quickly changed. A few minutes later, Dad came home from work and brought my sister to my room. He made her confess that she had stolen the money and said that I was not punished. Sister refused to even look at me while she was being forced to apologize. At first, she spoke in the quietest and squeakiest voice until Dad told her several times to speak louder, and she almost yelled. Then Dad gave me $100 to compensate for the stolen money, and said that sister was punished for a week. The stolen money was deducted from her pocket money, which she began to cry and curse Dad, then ran to her room. Mom sat on the back porch humming with her favorite wine and ignoring us all. She never apologized to me, and even behaved as if nothing had happened. And as hurtful as it was, sister still got her pocket money the next time. Only this time it was Mom who gave it to her, not Dad. A few days later, on Dad's day off, we went to the local store, and he bought me a safe to store money and other valuables. We didn't tell Mom or sister about it. The safe had a 4-digit code, and if I remember correctly, I used code 4962. I put all my money in the safe, locked it, and hid it in the back of the closet. A few weeks later, I came home after mowing lawns for neighbors, and found that my room had been trashed. I called Mom and told her what my sister had done to the room. Mom, as always, denied everything. My baby didn't do that. Well then, it was you. No. Well then, who else could have done it if the room was clean when I left and no one else was here besides you? Mom, clearly irritated by being cornered by logic. All right, but if she did it, then what does it matter that you treat her badly? I again called Dad and left a message on his work voicemail about what happened. Then I went to my sister's room and told her I know it was her who trashed my room. Before she could respond, I said she could no longer get to my money because they were locked in the safe. This caused her to have a real tantrum, and of course, angry Mom Bear rushed to her aid. But I simply repeated that sister could no longer take my money, and returned to my room to clean up. While my sister continued to scream in her room for about 20 minutes, nothing was missing or broken, just everything was scattered. I cleaned up the room, but the next day I found the room trashed again, and now a window was also broken. Sister threw the safe out the window because she couldn't open it. I immediately called Dad. When Mom and Dad came back from work, sister proudly confessed that she did it. Mom actually tried to take her side, saying, "You shouldn't have bought that safe at all." But Dad scolded her and said he bought the safe for me because he was tired of sister stealing my money. Every time she stole money from me and spent it, Dad was forced to return it to me because Mom never did it. My parents had to replace the window in my room. Dad installed a lock on my door and even hung a wall safe near the door to store the key to my room. Sister was punished for a month for breaking the window, and all this time she sat in her room when Dad was home while Dad was at work. Mom always let her do whatever she wanted, like playing video games or watching TV. I didn't tell Dad anything because I knew that if I told him, sister and Mom would specifically try to make my life even worse. After her monthly punishment ended, sister began begging me to lend her money every time she spent all her pocket savings. But I just told her she would never return them anyway because she doesn't earn anything and never saves anything. For fun, I wrote a promissory note and watched to see if she would sign it before Dad. She tore the sheet in half and again went to Mom to complain that I was being unfair to her. She and Mom tried to force me to give her money, but I just reminded them that Dad could do that. So if sister wanted more money, she definitely wouldn't get them from me. After that, Mom tried to send me to military school, but Dad didn't allow it. And yes, If anyone wonders why my dad didn't help me open a savings account then, I really don't know. I guess just keeping cash was usual for us. Update 1. Because of me, Mom crashed into the door soon after Dad gave me the safe for my money. He also put a lock on the door to my room and a wall code lock for storing the key because my sister threw the safe out the window of my room. We installed everything while Mom and sister were not home. When my sister first walked past my room that day, I saw her look at the lock and immediately ran for Mom. They both flew up the stairs, but there they met me and Dad. Here's roughly how the conversation went. Mom clicking her fingers several times and pointing, "What is this crap?" Dad, "A lock on the door." Mom, "I know it's a damn lock. But why is it there?" Dad, "Because you never punish and don't stop or trashing someone else's room. So now there will be a lock here." Mom, "He's only 14 years old and this is my house. He can't have a lock on the door." Dad, "No, this is our house. As far as I remember, I paid most of the mortgage and bills. You almost don't pay anything, and I'm tired of you always indulging, and our son constantly suffers from this." Mom, "Well then, I demand at least to be informed about this lock." Dad, stone-faced, "I won't do that because you've shown that you can't be trusted." Then Mom exploded, and with a bang went down the stairs. Sister just stood with an offended look, then slowly went to her room with a new lock. Everything was fine, and I got used to locking it every time I left my room. Not once I noticed how Mom and sister stared when I entered the code, but I always blocked the view with my hand or body. They really didn't like it, but they couldn't do anything about it. One day closer to the end of the month, my sister came to me and begged to borrow $40 so she could buy a video game she really wanted. Me, "Why do you come to me for money again if we both know you'll never return the debt?" Sister, "I'll return it, I swear." Me, "No, you won't. You spend everything you have every month and a little more on top, and you're sure it's better to spend all your pocket money than to return my debt. You always do that." Sister, "No, I don't." Me, "Well then, how about we check that?" I went to my room, took a piece of paper and a pen, and handwritten a promissory note stating that sister would return $40 to me upon receipt of her monthly pocket money. The note had to be signed in the presence of Dad as a witness. Sister read the paper, started sobbing, tore it in half, and again ran to Mom crying. That's exactly how she acted every time something didn't go her way. Sister crying, "Mom, you know what he did again?" Mom, "What did KG do again?" Me, "She wanted to borrow money, and I asked her to sign a promissory note in front of Dad, and she freaked out." Mom, "Why do you need this? She just wanted to borrow a little money." Me, "Would you sign my promissory note so I can make sure she'll return the money?" Mom, "You little ___, I don't have to sign anything, just lend her the money." Me, "Only after a signed promissory note." Mom stood up, stretched out her hand as if she was ready to hit me, but then changed her mind. Mom, "You're all your father's son. You need to document absolutely everything. I hate this." I go up to my room, thinking good that I'm just like Dad because it's much better than being like you as a sister, because you never do anything good. Mom, "What did you just say, little __?" She started climbing the stairs just as I entered my room and locked the door. Mom had a habit of flinging open the door to my room to yell at me. At that time, she swung the door open at once. Ripping inside the lock I had on the door had not been long, so she wasn't used to it yet. I closed the bolt, and she tried to fling open the door, but crashed into it with quite a loud bang. Then I heard how she fell to the floor and started screaming in pain. She hit the door hard with her body and face. By the way, the door was made of solid wood. Mom's lips swelled, and a bruise appeared on her forehead. I opened the door, and she was lying on the floor pounding her fists. Mom, "You rigged this, little __." Me, "You crashed into the door yourself." Mom, You're punished. Disappear from my sight. After that, I called Dad, and he just sighed on the phone hearing my story. He said I was not punished, but I still had to have a serious conversation for teasing her and just let him handle Mom himself when he returned home. In the end, I was waiting for a stern reprimand from Dad, additional housework, and a reduction in pocket money this month. Well, that's all it ended with from that day. Every time Sister asked me for money, I asked her to sign a promissory note. She really didn't like it. Update 2: My mom tried to send me to military school and forged Dad's signature. This backfired on her after the last time I stood up to Mom when she threatened to spank me. She apparently became more cautious, realizing that if she really tried to hit me for her, it could end very badly. So she mostly just yelled at me and didn't touch me anymore, at least until the events that happened years later when she wanted to get my house. I didn't attach any importance to her hysteria and continued to do my usual business, school, and random odd jobs. My 15th birthday was just around the corner, and Dad gave me a motor for a bike so I could move around town. He said it was better to save for a car rather than a scooter, but for now I could use an electric bike. I agreed with his logic and continued to save, but already for a car, however. A few days later, I found a military academy booklet sweeping grass in the backyard after mowing the lawn. It was lying on the ground under the table next to the place where Mom liked to sit and drink wine. I had a bad feeling that she was preparing some crazy scam, so I waited until Dad returned home and showed him the find. He was very angry but didn't make hasty conclusions and went to Mom with the booklet. "Dad, dear, what is this?" "Mom, I don't know. I've never seen this before." "Dad, really? Because here it says that you were going to send KG to a military academy. You know I wouldn't have allowed that." Then Mom stopped pretending innocence and yelled he needs to learn discipline. He always locks his door, and I can no longer spank him because he's too big. This is the only way to punish him for being a naughty scoundrel. "Dad, KG did nothing wrong. If anything, our daughter is a real spoiled brat because of you and what you allow her to steal from her brother. In general, the discussion of sending KG to a military academy is over. If you try to do it, I swear you'll have huge problems." "Mom, well, it seems the whole family wants to take away my last remnants of power in this house. If I have nothing left, then there's no sense in life either." "Dad, stop dramatizing because KG is growing up and becoming independent. He earns his money." After that, Mom bolted out of the room. The next morning before school, I saw how she furiously tried to shove something into the trash can in the kitchen. I waited until she went to work and pulled out what she was trying to hide. It was a filled-out application for a military academy entirely written in her handwriting. It required the signature of both parents and guardians, and the document had 2 signatures. I recognized Mom's signature, but the second was a pathetic attempt to forge Dad's signature. Dad always prided himself on his complex signature, and Mom had no chance to copy it without leaving obvious signs of fraud. It seemed she realized this after she was caught and gave up on the idea of sending me. I saved the papers and showed them to Dad later. He was angry but thought Mom had already given up on this idea, so he decided to let the situation go. However, he still kept the documents in his office just in case. A few months later, it turned out that Mom was cheating on Dad with her former boyfriend from school. For Dad, this was the last straw, and he filed for divorce a few months later. I moved to live with him after he bought a new house. The divorce process was accelerated when Dad presented papers from the military academy on which Mom had forged his signature, and this was not the first time. He also had evidence that she had forged his signature at least on 1 credit card application and another document, the details of which I no longer remember. Mom got the house because Dad didn't want it, but she also demanded alimony and child support payments as my sister, as expected, decided to stay with her. The court awarded Mom child support and minimal alimony with monthly payments for 10 years. Essentially, alimony only covered sister's pocket money. Mom was very angry about this and threatened to sue Dad again, but he held the threat of exposing the forged signatures over her head for years, so she wouldn't bother him. On the day I left to live in Dad's new house, Sister showed me her tongue and smugly stated that Mom said she was a princess and a more worthy child, so I'm leaving home. I just shook my head and said I didn't care what she thought. Then I walked out the door, finally feeling free as a bird. Our relationship with Sister when she came to Dad once a week only worsened until eventually we stopped communicating at all. I didn't really want to visit Mom. She practically turned my old room into a home office. Be sure to write what you think about this whole story. Personally, I'm glad that in this family at least one person, that is Dad, was on the side. After all, in most of our stories, the whole family covers one favorite child, and the rest ends up overboard. Glad this story is not like that. Thank you for watching this video to the end. Watch our previous video, which you will see here. Subscribe to the channel because there will be many more similar videos, and good luck.